Hey guys, welcome to part 4 of What If Yuji Was an Uchiha. Last time we left off after Yuji battling Jogo under the supervision of Gojo, however he is not strong enough to exercise the curse, so Gojo takes control of the fight, beheading Jogo, forcing him to retreat. With everyone caught up, let's begin. For the next month, Yuji would continue to study the Uchiha scrolls, learning new fire-style jutsus and advancing the ones he already knew. Some of the jutsus he learned were Fire Release Fire Shield Jutsu, Fire Release Rain of Fire Jutsu, Fire Release Phoenix Sage Fire Jutsu, Fire Release Inferno Burst, Fire Release Dragon's Roar, Fire Release Ember Dance, and his second favorite jutsu, Fire Release Fire Dragon Jutsu, and personal favorite, Fire Release Blazing Fist, where Yuji channels his cursed energy into his fists, igniting them with intense flames. When he delivers a punch, the flames burst forward, creating a blazing trail in the wake of his fist. The Blazing Fist not only enhances the impact of Yuji's physical attacks but also inflicts burns on the target upon contact. At the end of the month, Yuji and Nanami are tasked with investigating a gruesome scene in the theater, and arrive to find 3 mutated bodies. Nanami diligently examines the residuals left by the cursed spirit responsible, but Yuji, relying on the power of his Sharingan, quickly discerns the traces and begins following them without waiting for Nanami's analysis. His Sharingan allows him to see the faintest remnants of cursed energy, leading him to the roof where 2 mysterious creatures are located. As Nanami attempts to attack one of the creatures, Yuji intervenes by throwing a kunai to knock Nanami's blade away. He then urges Nanami to look closely, using his Sharingan to explain the subtle differences in the flow of cursed energy between a curse and a human. According to Yuji's analysis, the core of a curse resembles a flame, while in a human, it is more controlled. Convinced that these 2 creatures were once human, Yuji puts them under a genjutsu, inducing a deep sleep. Nanami, recognizing the significance of Yuji's observations, decides to send the creatures to Shoko for a more thorough investigation into their origin. With Yuji's suspicions confirmed, he passionately declares that whoever orchestrated this monstrous act deserves to die, activating his Sharingan. Nanami, however, reveals that the cursed spirit they are after manipulated the residuals to lead them into a trap, emphasizing the need for maximum effort in their pursuit. The next day, Nanami briefs Yuji on their progress, disclosing that he has tracked down the hideout of their target. Despite this breakthrough, Nanami assigns Yuji to follow a lead on Junpei, the only witness to the crime. Joined by Uchiha, Yuji and his companions set out to locate Junpei, with a small curse contained in a box, securely wrapped in talismans, to learn if their target is a cursed user or not. While outside the school building, Junpei is confronted by his teacher, Sotomiura, whose comments irritate Junpei to the point of almost attacking. Seeing the situation escalate, Yuji decides to intervene. However, Sotomiura continues to interfere, prompting Yuji to use his Sharingan to put the teacher under a genjutsu, persuading him to return to the building. Taking advantage of the moment, Yuji approaches Junpei, seeking to have a private conversation. Near a river, close to some stairs, Yuji attempts to contact Uchiha, who is busy with the fly head. Junpei recognizes the swirly button on Yuji's uniform, realizing he's a sorcerer. Opting for honesty, Yuji questions Junpei about the incident at the movie theater. Junpei denies witnessing anything, claiming to have gained the ability to see curses only recently. Trusting Junpei's words, Yuji sits down to talk, and the 2 boys engage in a discussion about movies. Junpei's mother, Nagi Yoshino, coincidentally finds them and invites Yuji to dinner. Uchiha, busy catching the fly head, contacts Yuji and arranges to pick him up. While on his way, Yuji receives a call from Nanami, requesting transportation to Jutsu High for medical treatment from Shoko. As Yuji leaves Nagi's house, Junpei asks him a profound question about killing, to which Yuji responds that he would try not to because the value of life would become even more unclear. After Yuji leaves, Junpei thinks about how people don't have hearts. However, there are good people like Yuji and his mother, so he could never kill anyone. Later that night, Nagi discovers one of Sukuna's fingers at her dining table, drawing a curse to her and leading to her tragic demise. Yuji and Nanami prepare to confront Mahito, but Nanami expresses concerns about Yuji being forced to kill transfigured humans. Instead, he asks Yuji to keep an eye on Junpei, who is being manipulated by Mahito. The curse feeds on Junpei's anguish, redirecting his anger towards Shota Ito, the student who bullied him. Junpei returns to school wearing his mother's black clothes, and Mahito, along with Geto, observes from a distance, planning to exploit Yuji through Junpei. They reveal that they were the ones who placed the Sukuna finger at Junpei's home. In the school auditorium, Junpei, under Mahito's influence, incapacitates everyone except Shota and Sotomura. Accusing Shota of placing the finger, Junpei uses Jutsu to inflict harm before threatening to kill him. Yuji enters the scene, urging Junpei to reconsider his actions. However, Junpei, consumed by anger, tells Yuji to stay out of it. As Junpei's anger seems insurmountable, Yuji decides to draw his katana. With a swift motion, he reinforces the blade with his cursed energy and transforms its nature, engulfing it in blazing flames. This extraordinary transformation earns the sword the name Hono no Amaterasu, signifying the flames of Amaterasu, a nod to the mythical Japanese goddess associated with the sun. In a desperate attempt to subdue Yuji, Junpei commands his Shikigami, Moon Dregs, to attack. The sinister tentacles reach out to ensnare Yuji and administer their deadly poison. However, to Junpei's bewilderment, before the tentacles could make contact, they are effortlessly severed by Yuji's blazing sword. The speed of the slash is so extraordinary that Junpei can't even perceive the movement of the blade. Undeterred, Junpei persists in his resolve to fight, insisting that Yuji wouldn't understand his pain. Yuji, however, urges him to surrender and share his story so that they can work together to find a solution. Junpei, trapped in his belief that humans lack hearts, orders Moon Dregs to attack once more. Yet, Yuji's blade proves too formidable, slicing through the Shikigami with searing heat, causing its internals to boil and explode. With Moon Dregs incapacitated, Yuji sheaths his sword, attempting to reach out to Junpei. He implores him to explain what happened, vowing to help him overcome the pain. However, Junpei remains steadfast, repeating his conviction that humans are heartless. Frustrated by his friend's despair, Yuji resorts to a physical approach, delivering a resounding punch to Junpei. He contends that Junpei's words are mere excuses, unworthy of sacrificing his life. In a heartfelt plea, Yuji reveals the contradiction in Junpei's beliefs and promises to return him to Jutsu High, offering support in finding the one responsible for his mother's death. Just as Junpei begins to waver under the weight of Yuji's sincerity, their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the ominous arrival of Mahito descending the school stairs. Noticing Mahito's presence before he even reached the stairs, Yuji leveraged his Sharingan's enhanced vision. Swiftly, he hurled a kunai attached to ninja wire and threw another kunai, manipulating the trajectory to wrap the wire securely around Junpei. Sensing the imminent threat of Mahito's soul manipulation touch-based technique, Yuji swiftly pulled on the wire just before Mahito could make contact. In an urgent tone, Yuji instructed Junpei to flee, emphasizing that he would be a liability in the upcoming battle. Junpei, initially resistant, insisted that Mahito was his friend and not a threat. However, witnessing Yuji's grave expression, Junpei realized the true nature of Mahito's manipulation and decided to heed Yuji's advice to run. As Junpei began to escape, Mahito, enraged, elongated his arm and unleashed razor-sharp rivets to ensnare and eliminate him. Acting with precision, Yuji severed the appendage, freeing Junpei and allowing him to flee. Mahito, undeterred, lunged at Yuji. Evading the attack, Yuji strategically jumped to the side, unwittingly playing into Mahito's plan. Seizing the opportunity, Mahito unleashed 15 transfigured humans to block Junpei's escape route. Yuji, quick to react, performed the hand signs for a fireball jutsu, engulfing Mahito in flames and forcing him out of the window. In a daring move, Yuji descended as well, aiming to slash Mahito in midair. However, Mahito, cunning as ever, tossed a transfigured human in his path, compelling it to morph into an impassable wall. Just as Yuji was about to make contact, the wall pleaded for salvation, tugging at his emotions and preventing him from delivering a fatal blow. Yuji, torn by empathy, was forced to retreat. Exploiting the diversion, Mahito detonated the wall, sending a spray of blood towards Yuji to obstruct his vision. Undeterred, Yuji skillfully spun his sword in a circular motion, generating a scorching tornado of flames that swiftly evaporated the blood and cleared his line of sight. Yuji, undeterred by Mahito's evasive maneuvers, unleashed the Phoenix Fireball Jutsu, sending numerous small balls of fire hurtling toward his opponent. However, Mahito, utilizing his soul manipulation, created holes in his body, allowing the flames to pass through harmlessly. Simultaneously, he transformed his arm into a massive spiked club and closed the distance between them. In a quick defensive maneuver, Yuji employed a fire-style fire shield, conjuring a scorching wall of fire that burned Mahito upon contact. The unexpected retaliation forced Mahito to pull back temporarily. Seizing the moment, Yuji capitalized on the cover provided by the flames. He deftly threw 20 kunais through the fiery barrier, each bearing an explosive tag. Mahito, anticipating the attack, dodged the kunais, only to realize too late that they detonated upon hitting the ground, propelling him back toward Yuji. Seizing the opportunity, Yuji attempted to deliver a decisive strike to behead Mahito once more. However, Mahito, ever resourceful, expelled 8 transfigured humans from his mouth. The desperate, pitiful creatures swarmed Yuji, clinging to him and begging for salvation. As a single tear fell from Yuji's eye, his Sharingan spun once again, unlocking the third Magatama and enhancing his visual prowess. With a heavy heart, Yuji resolved to end the suffering of the transfigured humans. Channeling the newfound power of his Sharingan, he swiftly and mercifully put the tormented beings out of their misery. Having realized metal can pass through Yuji's flames unaffected, Mahito transfigures his body so that it is coated in metal, charging towards Yuji, who uses another fireball jutsu. However, unexpectedly, Mahito jumps straight through, punching Yuji in the face, sending him flying. As Mahito, coated in a layer of metal, charged relentlessly towards Yuji, the latter realized the limitations of his conventional fire techniques. In a strategic shift, Yuji poured an even greater amount of cursed energy into his flames, unleashing a torrent of fire that twisted into the sky. The stream of fire entered the clouds, causing them to darken ominously. After a brief moment, baseball-sized fireballs began to rain down on the battlefield, relentlessly pounding on Mahito. The fiery onslaught chipped away at Mahito's metal-coated exterior until it became a seared and burnt covering. Seizing the opportunity, Yuji, determined to end the fight, charged towards Mahito. Swiftly slicing through the transfigured humans that Mahito attempted to employ as a barrier, Yuji stopped just short of beheading his opponent, as he noticed Junpei at the entrance. Surrounded by transfigured humans with no means of protection. In a split-second decision, Yuji spun around, utilizing his Sharingan to analyze the surroundings. Identifying a weakness in the building, he hurled his sword into a crack. Flames erupted from the impact, causing a section of the wall to collapse, crushing the transfigured humans and granting Junpei an opportunity to escape. Despite Mahito's criticism of Yuji's seemingly vulnerable position, Yuji swiftly performed the hand signs for Blazing Fist. Dropping to the ground to dodge an incoming attack from Mahito, his feet ignited in flames. Executing a rapid spin kick, combined with the strength of Divergent Fist and the firepower of Blazing Fist, Yuji left a significant mark on Mahito. With relentless determination, Yuji proceeded to unleash a barrage of strikes on Mahito from every conceivable angle, pushing the cursed spirit to the brink. As Yuji continued to rain down blows upon Mahito, the cursed spirit, nearing the brink of death, found inspiration within the chaos. In a desperate attempt to turn the tide, Mahito decided to unveil his trump card, the activation of his domain expansion. Drawing closer to the true shape of his soul, Mahito cast Yuji into the nightmarish realm of his domain, self-embodiment of perfection. Within this grotesque and distorted space, Mahito expressed his gratitude to Yuji for inadvertently aiding him in reaching his full potential. Seizing the opportunity, Mahito, with a malevolent grin, manipulated Yuji's soul, which was literally in the palm of his hands, to bring forth Sukuna. The atmosphere pulsated with ominous energy as Mahito exerted control over the very essence of his opponent. However, just as Mahito prepared to revel in his apparent triumph, he was met with an unexpected twist. Yuji, standing resolute before him, dispelled the illusion with a revelation: he had been under a genjutsu the entire time. With unwavering determination, Yuji exploited the moment when Mahito released his domain, seizing the chance to strike. A powerful punch connected with Mahito's head, causing blood to explode from the impact. Simultaneously, Mahito, recognizing the peril he was in, split his soul into hundreds of pieces. Like a torrent, these fragments slithered down the drain, escaping the clutches of Yuji's onslaught. With Mahito slipping away through the dark and intricate maze of the sewer system, Nanami, having arrived at the chaotic scene, assessed the situation quickly. Recognizing the urgency, Nanami instructed Yuji to tend to Junpei while he pursued the elusive curse. Turning his attention to Junpei, who bore the physical and emotional scars of the encounter, Yuji recalled the scroll on healing techniques he had studied. Drawing upon the enhanced memory of his Sharingan, he executed the prescribed steps with precision. Yuji carefully moved Junpei to a nearby water fountain, cleansing his wounds thoroughly. With a level of skill that seemed beyond his years, Yuji expertly stitched up the cuts on Junpei's body, as if he had honed this craft through years of experience. Meanwhile, Nanami faced the challenging task of tracking down the weakened Mahito within the labyrinthine sewer. Despite his thorough and meticulous search, Mahito managed to elude Nanami's pursuit, leaving the seasoned sorcerer frustrated at the elusive nature of the curse. The underground tunnels echoed with the tension of an unfinished battle, as Nanami grappled with the reality that he wasn't going to find Mahito. Okay guys, this is the end of this part. Thanks for watching this far. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, commenting any what-if suggestions, and subscribing to the channel with the notification bell enabled to be notified whenever I upload. With that out the way, this is Demonic Saiyan saying bye.